Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here, so it's time for another discussion video today, and today guys, I'm going to be doing a discussion video about an actor who plays my favourite Marvel superhero of all time, and it is none other than, I can guess by the photograph on next to me, which is, of course, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. So yeah, now, I'm going to be discussing him, and yeah, I'm going to say that, I think Tobey Maguire is definitely my favourite, like, Marvel superhero actor of all time, ever. Because I think, when it comes to playing Spider-Man, he played him absolutely perfectly, in my opinion. And I think, that no one will ever play Spider-Man in, live action better than him, in my opinion. And when it comes to, preferences, I think, he's far better than, like, any other live action actor for Spider-Man ever. And yeah, we'll get to why. So yeah, he of course first played Spider-Man in the first movie of Sam Raimi's trilogy, released in 2002. So yeah, and I gotta say, that movie, guys, in my opinion, is one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, absolutely. And it definitely is a movie I love to rewatch nowadays, because recently it came on Netflix, and I've been rewatching it, and it brought so many memories, and his performance, in my opinion, still holds up to this day, 19 years later, in my opinion. And, he was so dedicated to a role as well. And, I really love his costume, his websuit costume that he wore for the trilogy. Really amazing. So, yeah, I definitely, love that. And, plus, I gotta say that I also think Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi, they both have a very special place in my heart, guys. Because, because if it weren't for these guys, I would not be, a Marvel Comics fan. If it wasn't for Tobey Maguire's performance as Spider-Man, I would not be a Marvel Comics fan at all. Because it was this film, among, others later on. This is the first movie I saw by Marvel, the first Spider-Man movie in 2002, and it got me into Marvel, Without this movie, I would not be into Marvel, so yeah. I first saw this movie when I was a little kid, in around, I think it was 2006, when I was young. Because, I learned that there was going to be, an upcoming third film, so I thought I would watch the first two first. That was my plan. And I gotta say that, watching it for the first time was a very surreal experience, and Tobey Maguire's performance was amazing in it, absolutely phenomenal. Like, he's the reason why Spider-Man is my favourite Marvel hero of all time, and, like, one of my favourite, characters in history of cinema, really, to be honest, guys, So phenomenal. And then, after I saw the first film, I then saw the second film, Spider-Man 2, which was released in 2004. And I watched that, back to back with the first one, because I watched them both in preparation for a third film. And yeah. So I saw this film, and I gotta say that, Maguire's performance, I enjoyed way more in this movie than, in the first one, in my opinion. Because, I like on this movie, Spider-Man faced new challenges, such as a new villain being Dr. Octopus, and also a new power we didn't get in the first one, where he's losing his powers, which was brand new, and I did like that, a nice little change, and it fits so well, to be honest, and yeah. And it just shows how great an actor Tobey Maguire is, really, and plus, Spider-Man 2, in my opinion, guys, is my favourite non-MCU Marvel movie of all time. And it's one of my favourite movies of all time, actually, guys, overall, really. Like, I would say it's probably, like, my top favourite movies of all time, absolutely. Like, an absolutely phenomenal movie in every way. And I definitely think, the special effects in the CGI in that movie, and, the movie as a whole, still holds up to this day, 17 years later in 2021. Absolutely. And Tobey's performance was phenomenal in this movie. He really nailed the role. And yeah. And I love this movie so much, guys, that I even bought this action figure of Spider-Man from that movie. This is based on how he plays in Spider-Man 2. Looks really cool. It's also very fully posable as well. Really awesome. Still got it to this day because I love it. Really great. And yeah. Then then of course, after that, I then saw Spider-Man 3, and the thing is, guys, I did not watch this movie, at the cinema because, I was pretty busy at the time, really, to be honest. And eventually, I finally got on to watching it on DVD when I was on holiday in Mallorca, actually. So, yeah, I watched it in Mallorca on DVD, and I gotta say that, it was an alright movie, but it's my least favourite Raimi trilogy movie, to be honest, guys, and yeah. I'm not going to say why it's my least favourite, because that's, irrelevant, because we're going on to topics which is irrelevant to the video, because we're just discussing Maguire Spider-Man, not the movie. When it comes to Maguire's performance, I only like him in the red suit, not in the black suit, when it comes to performance, right? Like, because I just think, he was still great in the red suit, and but when it comes to a black suit, the only scenes I like when he's got a black suit on is, I only like when he's got a black suit on, when, he first puts it on and he goes on that swing and he realises his powers are much more powerful. And also when he fights Sandman in the subway, because, that he showed pure rage against him because he found out that he was involved in Uncle Ben's death. But yeah, I did like that, but I did not like any of the scenes where he was the infamous, meme called Bully Maguire. Like, oh god, that was just so utterly annoying in my opinion, so cringy. Like, I did not like that, to be honest, but I will say it was at least satisfying seeing him get his revenge on Eddie Brock for posting fake images of Spider-Man online and to a Daily Bugle. Like, because that was satisfying seeing him punish Eddie Brock for what he did, yeah, because Eddie Brock was stupid to do those fake images, weren't he? So he should have just, like Peter said, he should have thought about, his job before doing those fake images, and yeah, of course, J. Jonah Jameson fired him, so yeah. And when it comes to dancing, oh god, that was just so cringy, I couldn't stand it. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, putting dancing into a movie of all things, like, why? Seriously? Just so cringy for me, really. Like, it was just utter cringe. Like, that's why the film's my least favourite, and there's other reasons why it's my least favourite. I'm not going to get to it because that's irrelevant. And I did also like the scene as well where, when he accidentally assaults Mary Jane in that nightclub, because that was like a sign that he was realising that, the suit was changing him as well. And of course, the scene where he rips it off in the church near the bell as well. Like, I think that scene was, filmed so well and was very dark as well, in my opinion, and yeah. And I'm glad he finally got a red suit back, towards the end of the movie. I was happy about that. And yeah. Spider-Man 3, in my opinion, is like a very underrated Marvel movie, guys, like, I'd rather watch it over many more movies I hate, because there's loads more movies I can't stand, such as, Fantastic and the Ghost Rider films, and also Captain Marvel. And also X-Men Dark Phoenix, and also, as I call it, and also X-Men Origins Wolverine, as I call it. I'd rather watch all of those. And I'd also rather watch all the New Mutants as well. But yeah, because Tobey still did a great performance, but I liked him primarily and only in the red suit, to be honest, guys. Now, of course, you're probably wondering, what are my thoughts on the reported news of Tobey returning in Spider-Man No Way Home, the upcoming movie in the MCU. So yeah, now, I'm going to be honest, guys, and say that, the reported return of Tobey and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man returning is probably, like, the reason why I want to watch this movie in the first place, and the same calls to be applied to the return of Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, although I'm a bit concerned about it because, I don't want it to ruin his sacrifice at the end of Spider-Man 2. I'm a little bit worried about that, because, like, I don't want him to sacrifice himself for nothing, He was going to come back in another film as a villain, So, yeah, I'm hoping that, they'll give a explanation that won't ruin the ending of Spider-Man 2, because if they, change it, and it make his sacrifice was all for nothing, I'll be furious, guys. And, if Tobey Maguire is not in the movie, I'll be very, very disappointed, because, like, I'll be furious if they cheat us out of, a great team up between, 3 Spider-Man actors. I'll be so furious if they deny us that. Like, I'm only interested in the movie because of this, because, guys, like, if they weren't bringing back Doc Ock, like Alfred Molina, or, Andrew and Tom, teaming up alongside Tom, Tobey and Andrew alongside Tom Holland Spider-Man, I'll probably skip this movie, because To be honest, guys, I'm actually kind of done with the MCU because, as I've already said before, after I see No Way Home, I will be retiring from watching the MCU because, it doesn't interest me anymore. I've hated the direction many of the shows and films have gone under and what the upcoming films are going to do. So, yeah, I'm retiring. I just feel there's no point in continuing after the perfect ending of Endgame I think movie of all time gave, So, yeah, that's why, this will be the last MCU movie that I'll be watching before I retire. So, yeah, because, because Spider-Man is my favourite superhero for Marvel, absolutely, guys. So, yeah. And it's all thanks to, the performance of Tobey Maguire. Without him, I would not be a Spider-Man or Marvel Comics fan, It's primarily because of Tobey that I'm a Marvel fan, really. Like, I bet your money, guys, if I'd have not seen the Sam Raimi films of Spider-Man, I'd probably not be a Marvel fan. Because I saw his trilogy first, and then, of course, I saw other Marvel movies, such as, the Blade movies, and also the X-Men movies, and, the Fantastic Four duology from 2005 and 2007, before watching the MCU, so, yeah. I'm just, glad that I watched this trilogy, because it got me into such a great franchise, and, yeah. Like, Tobey was just perfect for a role, absolutely. And no matter what, he will always be my favourite Spider-Man of all time. And, I will never ever see anyone playing him in live action other than him, really. And it was also great how he also came out for video games based on the 3 films he was in as well, which was pretty awesome. I do like that. And so far, guys, Andrew Garfield's the only Spider-Man actor not to be in a video game voicing his character because in the 2 Amazing Spider-Man games, he was played by Sam Riegel. And, of course, Tom Holland actually voiced his Spider-Man in like, a mobile game as well. But, yeah. Enough of that, it was really fun playing with Spider-Man games because he voiced Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire. I was happy about that. It was really great. I also think for like a Spider-Man 2 storybook as well, alongside Alpha Mini's Doc Ock as well, which was really fun to read when I was a kid. Yeah, it was really to listen to their voices, yeah. But yeah. Anyway, guys, so this is me doing my discussion video talking about my favourite, Marvel actor of all time, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. My favourite Marvel hero actor, absolutely. So, drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to leave in the comments what you guys think of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man if you like him like I do. Also, be sure to join the team by pressing subscribe for more videos coming in the future. And if you want to be a member, you can press join if you're using a PC or laptop, or you can click in the link below in the description. And with great power comes great responsibility.